So tonight's going to be, a little bit about, what we do, and most of you guys are pretty new to the concept of our software and what we are all about, as well as a little bit of a workshop too. I want to show you kind of how our software works and also the philosophy behind why we built the software and of course how it's going to make you money. So the theme tonight is basically creating your own trade system. And everything that we do is sort of built around this idea of empowering you guys as retail traders with the tools to do it yourself. We're not a company that believes in just sort of coming up with a pre-baked trade system and handing it to you and hoping that that'll work. We sort of opted to take a much different approach. Technologically speaking, a much more difficult way. It's a much more difficult thing to do because the engineering behind it is obviously it's a lot more advanced. But the whole point of it is to actually arm you guys with the tools to create your own trade system to match your personality, your risk profile, all those things. So I'm going to go over a little bit about what the software can do, BloodHound. And of course, I did promise as well to show you that we're going to be building a simple system using very common indicators that did quite well over the past 3 years. And you'll see kind of by the end of this little presentation really just how easy it is to put together this kind of stuff, and especially with our tool. So kind of without further ado, what I sort of want to start off with is a little bit about maybe some of the things that if you're new to trading, or if you've been around the block a little bit and you've kind of had the chance to look at a lot of the products that are offered out there. There's a ton of stuff. I mean, the market is literally flooded with lots and lots of indicators out there, and I guess a lot of people, of course, you've probably heard that saying, are searching for the Holy Grail. And the big question is, you see these offers, this indicator for $1,000, or that indicator for this system for $4,000 plus training. You're often sort of struck with the question is sort of, should I spend my hard-earned cash to buy your indicator or system and learn how to trade it like you do and hopefully try to make money, or maybe try a different tack. A little bit of a secret. We've sort of had the privilege of, being in the industry for a little bit of time. We had a chance to look at a lot of stuff that's out there. And honestly, a lot of these sort of custom indicators really are nothing that special, really. They're just indicators that are amalgamation of a couple different combination of very common indicators put together. And, something that with our software at least, you could reverse engineer and quite easily build yourself for a lot less money. So, just beware, I guess, before you sort of take the plunge. And I'm not sort of, I'm not sort of casting a negative light in any way in our industry. I mean, our training coaches out there are very valuable to the industry. That you do want to find somebody out there that's done this before, and there are a lot of really good people out there that they'll help you learn how to trade. But there are a lot of things out there, I think, that you don't really have to spend the full amount of money, especially if you can buy a tool like ours, I suppose, and devise it yourself. My partner Zach, he's actually quite savvy at reverse engineering quite a few things that we've seen out there, and honestly, when we sort of break it down, it's usually very simple things. Like I said, a lot of things are just sort of built off of these really simple indicators. So before I kind of dive into the system, I just want to sort of talk a little bit about the what we have observed in terms of professionals out there. We've got a lot of customers that sort of fit the gamut of trading experience. We have everything from beginner traders that are just starting out to professionals. And one of the things that we do notice, and we have this, this is a great sort of opportunity. We can sort of study, what makes the pros, and why are they successful. And a lot of it has to do with habits. and their routine. You know, and I know this may sound like a little bit of an aside, but I think it just has to be said because you know, it sort of ties into why we built this tool, and you know, and again, I think it's a very important factor as to why, you know, you have some people that succeed and some people that don't. And generally speaking, what we have noticed is the guys that succeed go about things a little differently. They spend their time a little differently, and it's, you know, a lot of their time is actually spent, you know, it's very little of their time is actually spent trading. They may call themselves traders, but in the end, most of their time is actually spent not actually trading, but doing research and looking at charts, studying them, looking at indicators. Literally all the work is done before the market even opens. And that could be on a static chart screen, or that could be through back testing, or that could be using simulation. You know, all those things are very important. And our tool really kind of integrates with this sort of process, this cycle. A professional trader will trade in the morning, usually when the markets are open, or at night if you're overseas. You know, as soon as the markets close, they hit the charts and they go into phase 2, or really the more important phase, which is research and tweaking their system. And I've seen traders, you know, as successful as they are and as amazing and as good results they get, they're still hitting the charts. You know, they never stop. It's not one of those things where you just develop the system, your trade system, and then, you know, forget about it and just, you know, keep trading it without tweaking or changing it. Not at all. I mean, the best traders are the ones that are constantly tweaking it. They're constantly changing it, and they're constantly evolving it because, frankly, the market is constantly evolving. So you've got to sort of keep up with it. So it's, you know, it's a lifelong journey. You don't stop with that. So kind of with their trading habits, you know, it's, again, they trade in the morning, they research and they develop at night or before the market, and they sort of go through this cycle. And our tool really comes in there. Its main strength is actually in the research phase. You'll see as well that you definitely use it as well in the actual trading phase. But you know, where I think a lot of the sort of big open gap is in the marketplace from a software tools perspective is definitely that research phase. So you know, this sort of lends itself to you know, why create your own strategy versus just say taking something else or you know, get something handed down to you. And again, as I was alluding to, like these professionals, they constantly evolve their strategy over time. And you know, the key is these guys, you know, they learn to come up with their own trade ideas. They invent them literally. And it's not so hard. I mean, it really isn't. You just look at your charts, you study them enough, you'll start to see things. And it's just a lot of observation. But in the end, you know, learning how to come up with your own ideas is far better than just simply following somebody, because if you've got to follow someone, you know, it's you're always kind of one step behind. You know, if you sort of get into this habit of constant research and whatnot, it'll come naturally after a while. The other thing that traders do, and you know, it's not really on this chart here, but you know, they tend to, you know, see the matrix, if you will. They look at a chart and they can instantly see, you know, where the buy and sell signals are, and you know, that just takes years of training. But really, again, there's no secret. You know, that's just from studying the charts over and over again. And this is again where our tool can help out tremendously. Is if you've identified patterns and you've got these sort of written down, you've got these rules, and then you've modeled them with our system. You know, it's quite trivial to trade with it after that. So once you got modeled, and as you'll see shortly, basically you get these very clear-cut buy and sell signals that you've invented. So during trading, you don't have to worry about, you know, did that line actually cross that one? I can't really tell. It's hard to see. You know, so many things are happening at once. You know, with our system, once you have it modeled, it's as trivial as just looking for a very big glaring red or green buy or sell signal. So let's get into, you know, a little bit about, you know, what our software does for you. again, it's a way to model your system on the computer. And this is, this is basically the research phase, but it does a little bit more than that. Not only can you, once you got your trade system sort of modeled in your computer, now, kind of by extension, you can backtest it, and that's, a very critical part of the research phase is actually discovering how good is your system, and that is more important than you may think, because not only is it you're verifying that what you've got works to some degree, but when you get good backtest results in your system and you look at it, that builds confidence, and confidence and emotions play an extremely important part in the success of your trading. If you've never live traded before, I would suggest just try it. Try it without a system. It's a good educational experience. It could be very expensive. Like my first experience, it cost me $800 on one day, and to some traders that's not very much money, but to me it was at the time. So, and I remember my heart was beating like crazy. I was sweating. It was nothing like it was in simulation. But it was definitely an experience, and it taught me that emotions really rule the day. It's there's a lot to emotions that can wreck your trading, and my God, like you wouldn't believe how many emotions you will go through when you actually put real money on the line, and you're watching your trades, and you're watching yourself, you're watching your trades say go sour or something like that. Now, the confidence that you build in from your backtesting will help you actually execute your trades properly the way you've originally planned them. So that's why backtesting is extremely important. And I swear to God, like it's just not done enough by retail traders. And it's really not because they don't want to; it's because they didn't have the tools available to do so. So, again, as I was alluding to, BloodHound also lets you do auto trading. So if you've got your system modeled, by extension as well, not only can you backtest it, but you can actually auto trade it. Now, not all of our customers, of course, choose to auto trade. A lot of professionals, I find actually the best ones tend to be discretionary traders, but they'll use our tool, again, to do the research and do all those things prior to entering the market and prior to the market open, and then they'll use our signals to enter the market, and then they'll manually take over and manage positions from there, because we find that with their experience they can be a lot better at that. But if that's not what you want, like there's auto trading has definitely got some incredible advantages as well, and not the least of which, of course, it's completely emotionless. Who wouldn't want to sort of just be able to turn on a computer and have the engine run? You still got to babysit it, but without kind of sweating and without all the nervousness involved, you can watch your trades evolve the way you had planned them originally, and then maybe just play more of a role of a supervisor and shut things off when things go crazy, when the market's doing something that you didn't originally plan for or whatnot. You sort of take a more high level viewpoint, if you will, on your trading. So that's some of the advantages of auto trading. So what I'm going to get into next, and again, this is part of what I promised here, is to show you that system that we were talking about in the email. And like I said, it's really nothing special in terms of what was built behind it. It uses very common indicators, and in this case, I'm going to be using the crude oil daily chart, because this system is more or less sort of designed for with a daily chart in mind. That's not to say it won't work on tick charts for intraday. It's just that certainly if you want to go that route, obviously you want to backtest it first, but at least when we originally designed this system, it was with daily charts in mind, and we call this one the classic stock signal, because it really is just an amalgamation of moving average and a MACD and a stochastics. Those are three very classic signals that traders have used since literally the beginning of time. So let me just show you really quickly, kind of like I've got sort of back here. This is kind of what the system actually looks like after you backtest it, and I'm going to show you how to build it. But this is NinjaTrader's strategy analyzer screen, and you can sort of see that given sort of some reasonable profits and loss targets here of approximately 8 to 10 bars, I found it sort of gives you pretty good reasonable results. And just over these instruments, you can see it's done pretty well. And those of you that are pretty sharp will recognize almost immediately some of these instruments have a lot of things in common in terms of their behavior, right? You look at the Euro USD. Now this may be a little bit deceptive because NinjaTrader doesn't actually like this is, we're talking 23 cents of profit movement, if you will, in the Euro USD. So and I'm not a forex trader, so those of you that are advanced forex traders out there, do correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe if you were trading a single standard lot, 23 cents, so you'd basically multiply that number by 100,000, and that would be your profit. So you're looking at about $23,000 there, actually. So in other words, this is a little misleading, but this bottom figure really should be more, 23,000 more than this is. So that's about 80 or 90,000. Just shy of $90,000 of profit. But these particular stocks and these instruments, and you can see the system translates as well on sort of different instruments. But these ones tend to be quite volatile. Like they move up, they have these nice big long swings, and I put these guys here kind of on purpose because I wanted to show you that not all systems work great for all sorts of instruments or markets. And like how many of you are well, thanks, Corey. That's Corey actually I know is a forex trader, so looks like I didn't screw the pooch there. But how many of you guys are actually familiar with the ES or say Microsoft as a stock? If you sort of like, I guess who can out there sort of tell me what the common denominator between those two in terms of characteristics? They're completely different instruments, but Microsoft and the ES, they tend to actually be fairly, I guess you could say, they're not wildly moving stocks or not wildly moving instruments. Microsoft especially, it's pretty stagnant and it's slow. It's a slow moving instrument. It moves, but certainly not in comparison to like Apple or the Euro USD or crude oil. So immediately you can sort of tell by this system that it works quite well in these volatile markets. Okay, so that's another thing that comes out in the backtesting process is you sort of discover these characteristics about your system. What markets is it good at? What time frames is it good at? Okay, so let's go in and let's actually build this thing. All right. So let's find my little slide here. Joe's asking what time frame. This is basically I just took the the data since 2010, daily data since 2010. So again, this is a little bit of the characteristics of the system, and as I mentioned before, it doesn't use anything special other than a couple common indicators. The stochastics, the MACD, and the SMA, and if you've done a little bit of trading, those should be very familiar to you guys. But I want to go through the sort of first component here. Okay, so this is kind of a system of crossovers, right? This system is sort of built on the idea of we're going to try to get alignment of these three indicators to agree more or less within the same, same kind of time frame, within a couple bars of each other. Okay, so let's start with the simplest one. All right, the SMA 30. And the whole idea behind this simple crossover is that we're sort of going a long bias when the price crosses above the SMA 30. So this white line here is the SMA 30, and we've got a nice sort of strong short bias when we're crossing below the SMA 30. Okay, so again, this is nothing magical. I've seen plenty of courses and lots of material out there that use this very common technique. But by itself, you'll see that by itself, it's not quite sufficient enough to do well. Okay, so I've got this chart up here, And apologize if the screen is jumping around. I'll try to minimize my movement a little bit here. Okay, but this is the chart, and you can see the price bars here, and you can see I've got the SMA 30 here. And what I'm going to do is add BloodHound to it. Okay, so I just open up my indicator window, add BloodHound. One of the first things you're going to notice once I start working with this is BloodHound actually works in real time. So if you've ever used NinjaTrader for any period of time, you'll notice that whenever you put an indicator on, you've got to sort of refresh the window, go back into your indicator screen. There's a little bit of a hiccup there, and myself sort of let's face it, we live in this world of instant gratification, right, folks? So I couldn't have it any other way. We'd have to we want to have it sort of instant. So this is what I'm talking about. So I can add like a little crossover, what we call solver. These are guys that basically look at the criteria on your chart. So we're looking for crossover events, and I'm going to name this one the 30 SMA crossover, and we're going to just simply compare the price against the 30 SMA. Okay, and basically you notice as soon as I do that, you can see that the chart is instantly sort of updated itself, and this is what I'm sort of talking about. Is BloodHound, like, it runs in real time in terms of you get that feedback, and this is quite important, I find, actually. If you're developing systems, you just want to have stuff happen really quickly. But you can see it gets a little nasty here, right? Like there's some instances, hey, it picked out a good one here. We can see that it took a short. Just prior to the dropping, or actually, it might actually, this one, it did it just prior to this big down bar, and you certainly could have captured some profit here, but I think this is where you would have gotten a little trouble here, right? So again, the whole point of layering different indicators on is to confirm, the movement that you see. It's almost like getting a second opinion, right? Right, so you're going to be putting down a lot of money somewhere, you probably want to have a few advisors on your side, not just one. So the next little criteria I want to work on here is let's just go to the next slide here. Is the stochastics, okay? And my partner Zach, who designed the system, likes to use kind of a little bit faster stochastics than I guess the normal parameters, but on the stochastics, you get this sort of conditions, right, where the stochastic is basically an oscillator, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, and essentially it just oscillates up and down between 0 and 100, and kind of the idea is when it gets too high, like it's sort of telling you, hey, I've been sort of in this buying zone for quite some time. It's probably time that that if you look at any chart, it doesn't go up indefinitely. Nothing goes up indefinitely. There'll be a time where the buying will sort of peter out, and you'll get some sellers in there taking profit or doing something or other. And the stochastic is sort of designed to take advantage of that. So the point is, it has to get up to this point, this little threshold here, which is about 75 on the stochastic, and then turn around, come back down, and only when it is screaming downwards, then we'll say, hey, this is probably a good time to go short. And that screaming downwards tends to happen, you tend to sort of see that kind of start to happen when you cross back below this 75 threshold. Conversely, on the long side here, all right, and we'll take a look at the chart in a second here and how that sort of compares, but we can do the same sort of thing going upwards, above the 25 here. So imagine there's enough selling going on. The stochastics is saying, hey, you're kind of in an oversold situation now. There's a good chance that the buyers are going to start to come in and see a bargain. When that indicator starts to turn around and head back upwards and break this 25 line here, this is literally, I believe, how the indicator was actually designed. And I'm not suggesting in any way you've got to use indicators the way they're designed, and absolutely not. I mean, we've seen lots of professionals use indicators in totally different ways, and ways that the indicator design had not even conceived of. Okay, so I'm not in any way advocating that you must do that, I'm just saying it just so happens that this particular system, we're just using this stochastic as it was as intended. Okay, so let me clear off that guy so we can see a little bit clearer here about what's going on. But you can sort of see, look at the price chart. You see how the price is dipping, it's oscillating up and down. You get these little price swings, and you can sort of see that the stochastic is kind of following it. Okay, it's kind of giving you a nice little smooth line. You know, you know, when there's enough selling go on, you know, it tends to happen when you get some pretty fast selling. And, you know, the kind of one of the rules in the market, when you get some really fast selling, really fast buying, you're probably going to get, you know, some profit taking or some people buying it, you know, sort of take advantage of that. And the stochastic is great at picking that stuff up. So you can see here kind of when it dips below this threshold here at the 25, right? You know, of course, no indicator will be accurate 100%, but in this case, you can see this is the point here where it breaks above, and probably correctly got a you know, maybe just a little bit of movement here before we tank back down. But nonetheless, let's program this in and take a look at the chart. And to do that, I'm actually going to be using a sort of more advanced logic screen that we've built into BloodHound, and this is sort of you know, our bread and butter in terms of you know, this little interface will allow you to a lot of very complex and very flexible things with your logic, but today we're going to keep it pretty simple. So again, we want to use another crossover, and we actually got to make two of them because what we want to compare is the stochastics against a certain threshold. So it'll be apparent once I put it in, you'll see why. So again, I'm going to use the same stochastic parameter that partner uses. And he likes to use kind of a little bit of a faster stochastic here. And he uses the 5-14-1. So he just sort of takes a little bit of smoothing out and shortens the period just a little bit. Okay. And as soon as I plug that in, let's see, wait a minute, I might have got wrong parameters there. 5-14-1. And, sorry, 1 second, let's take a look. That is a D or K. Oh, okay, so we're on D. And, oh, of course. Okay, yeah, so I'll plug in the indicator there, and on the sort of below that, we've got to put in the threshold here. And let's work on, let's say, the upper threshold first. Okay? All right, so this kind of in English is saying, all right, just paint me all the situations where my stochastic is breaking above and or below, or above or below the 75 threshold. Okay, so I'll basically put the indicator up here and put the absolute value of the threshold value down here. And you can see that anytime that this indicator is breaking above the 75, we get sort of a green little bar there, our green stripe. And anytime we're breaking below, we get this this red stripe. Okay, but if we go back to our little criteria here, we're actually only interested in situations where we're breaking back above the 25 and breaking down below the 75. Okay, so what I'm getting at is we don't really care about this guy right here. We don't really care about this. In fact, we don't really care about any of the green stripes. Okay, because if you notice the green stripes, the green stripes are all marking the points where we're breaking above the 75. We don't care about that. We only want to know about the stripes going below the 75 right here. Okay, because on the green side, what we really want is to look at the 25, not the 75. Okay. So what I'm going to do is shut off on one side to this thing, right? Instead of having this one guy evaluate both sides, I'm going to have him evaluate only the short side. Okay, so that quickly just eliminates all the green signals, and now we've got only the ones that have already been above the 75 and now breaking back below it. Okay, so I'm going to name this guy appropriately. This is the short signals. Actually, let's just make it a little shorter. Okay. Stochastic short signal, okay, and I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing for the long side. I've noticed too, like I've basically put this node here, and I just plugged it into the result. That's just telling the system, hey, take this criteria, and that's what I want to use it to compute the result. And I do the exact same thing with the long side, so I'm going to name this one first. All right, and let's 6 here. And you'll notice here, we actually can support any indicator that's on your system already, including third-party indicators that you may have bought, even ones that you may have designed yourself. So really, it's a flexible enough tool that if it's on your system, it should work. There are some minor caveats to that in terms of the indicator designer has to have sort of played friendly with it and share its data. But for the most part, most indicator designers do that. So I've got the stochastic long side, and now I need to set this threshold to 25 because we want to, again, now we're looking at this threshold here. Okay, we just completed this one before. Now we're doing this one next. Okay, so watch. As soon as I plug that in, you can see that now we're getting the output from this node, which is looking at just this threshold here. All right. Same idea. We're not interested in when it's going short on this threshold. We're only interested in when it's going long. So I'm going to eliminate the long side like that, or the short side. Okay. So now we have these two separate pieces, and it's simple a matter of tying them together so that we can see both at the same time. What I did was I just went to my logic nodes here. I just went to an OR node, and this will allow me to sort of get basically both signals in together. So I plug them into the OR node, and then plug that into the result, and boom. All right. Now we have all the situations where we're both seeing short signals coming from the 75 going down, and long signals coming from the 25 going up. Like so. All right. Let me just pause real quick and take a look if there's any questions. I just hope I haven't lost anybody, but where is my questions? Okay. What do we got here? All right, so, okay, so yes, Larry, this is going to be recorded. And Thomas is asking if we've updated the help files. We are continuously doing that. We're continuously updating the help file. We want to get the software out there sort of quick as possible. Ken and Rez are asking, that's a common question. Yes, it is just for NinjaTrader. They're probably asking if they use a separate charting platform. So BloodHound is for NinjaTrader. We currently don't have any plans to port it at the moment, but if you haven't used NinjaTrader, I highly recommend you try it out. It is actually a free product, believe it or not. It pretty much runs entirely, unrestricted, free. Just the only kind of caveat is if you want to place orders and whatnot with the live broker and stuff, then you got to pay. So therefore you can do pretty much all your research and whatnot with NinjaTrader. So they make it really easy to switch over to their platform, and believe me, I've tried quite a few of them. NinjaTraders, we didn't choose those guys by accident. Those guys are great. Okay, let me just make sure I'm not. Can you use any NinjaTrader indicator? Yeah, so I've just answered that. So Ken, yeah, absolutely, you can use any indicator that's installed in your system and that works with NinjaTrader. Have you tied in the SMA yet? I don't think so. Okay, so that's probably just some sort of question related to the actual building of the system. All right, so that's the stochastic section there. That's the stochastics portion, and we're going to build the third and final component. And I think I did promise I'd build this in under 15 minutes. I am taking my sweet time. I mean, literally, Zach and I, or anybody really that's used our software even for just a little bit of time, could probably build this in under 2 minutes, really. Something that would take a coder much longer to do. We're sort of taking our time again, I just want to get the actual bits and pieces sort of explaining them and why we do them. But all right, so the third and final piece is actually MACD histogram. And if you're not familiar with this little indicator, this is a great little momentum indicator. And a lot of traders that we've come across have used the MACD as a great tool to find out which way the momentum is swinging. And the zero line tends to be kind of where the, you know, I guess where the difference maker is. And you know, when that histogram or chart is below the zero line, that's definitely a good bearish sign, and vice versa. When this histogram chart is above the zero line, that's a great indicator that you're looking at bullish territory. So this is that zero line here, and we want to do much the same thing. We want to get that exact point where they cross the zero, and so I'm going to do that. Okay, so again, we're only using one type of criteria with this system. It's just the crossover, but as you can see, there's quite a few different ones there. And you know, I mean, you can build systems. You don't certainly have to use all of these, but you know, if you can think of it, there's a good chance that we've thought of it too, and you're able to build it into your system. So let's build in the MACD histogram, right, which is also known as the diff, right? That's actually the histogram is actually the difference between the two moving averages that are sort of built into the MACD. All right, so again, same idea. We want to use the MACD against a threshold of 0, right? And again, my partner, he likes to just speed these up a little bit. It makes your indicators a little more reactive. You know, this is sort of lends itself into playing with the indicator values, you know, to find out kind of what suits the market that you're trading and your style of trading as well. And you'll notice that the MACD, and this BloodHound is smart to sort of pick up which of the following plots are going to be, you know, created from the MACD, or sort of spat out from the MACD, and you know, these are the two moving averages I was talking about. The difference is actually what we know is also known as the histogram, and that's what actually we want to use to evaluate. We want to compare the histogram, and that's what we've got on this chart here with these purple bars. Okay, so same idea. I'm going to compare this. We're going to look at this against a cross over the zero line, and I'm just going to put in by myself. Okay, so now you can see immediately BloodHound has updated the chart, and we can see all the moments where the histogram is popping above the zero line and below, right? Now, let me just point out, like, you know, if I go through all these ones sort of individually, right, you know, you might not get some good signals out of them, right? So this is, again, the little secret, you know, the industry secret, is that, you know, a lot of these indicators, the systems that are out there, they're just amalgamations of a few different, very simple pieces. You know, and why does that work? Well, the truth is, like, you know, to some degree, trading, you know, to be honest, no one can really explain it, you know, and there's a lot of theories going out there, but one of the prevailing theories is that, you know, there tends to be, you know, self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes. You got a lot of traders that look at the same indicators, and, you know, when their indicator, you know, their systems fire off the long signals, there's a good chance that a lot of people out there as well that they're firing off the same long signals, and they're taking the trades as well. So, you know, you kind of want to, you know, don't want to fight the crowd too much. That's why they say go with the trend. You know, like, it's in a way, trading can be a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, and at least, you know, who knows? No one actually knows the answer, I guess. But as a trader, to be perfectly honest, you know, you really don't care why. You just do what works. That's really the bottom line. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I built a couple pieces. I'm going to pull the last one there. Okay, we have to add cross. Put that one in. I've got a couple pieces, but there's a good chance that they don't actually line up, right? What I'm saying is, right, what are the chances that on this exact bar, all three are going to agree? You're going to have the stochastics crossing exactly below that line, and you have the MACD crossing exactly below that line as well. Well, I mean, it will happen, but you're probably going to get like one trade a year or something. It's going to be quite rare. And let me illustrate that. So I'm going to put a note up here like that. Okay, and let me just widen that a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to move it slowly so I don't get so the computer can sort of keep up with me. But I'm going to go on to the and node, and this will sit. This is like telling it, look, I want all the conditions to line up exactly on the same bar. In other words, I want this condition, I want 30 crossing, and I want the stochastic crossing, and I want the histogram crossing all at the same time. And of course, as soon as we do that, pretty much all the signals disappear. You might get a couple. We got one here, right? This, and you look at it, it looks like it actually sort of the moon's aligned here, and wow, that was a pretty damn good trade, in fact. You can see the exact moment this guy crosses above the stochastics happen to be the exact same bar that this one crossed above the 30 SMA, and the histogram just peaked above the 0 line. Okay, so you got the moons aligning, and you one trade out of what looks like maybe 3 or 4 months here. Okay, that may or may not be your style. You know, maybe you're very conservative and that's what you want. But what we're going to do is sort of increase our chances just a little bit and sort of relax the rules just to allow things to happen a little bit more. And what I'm talking about is we're going to relax the rules so that we're say, if these conditions happen within 3 bars of each other, okay, do it. All right, so give it a little bit of a range. And the way to do that in BloodHound is very simple. Okay, and let me illustrate. So on the SMA result, so now we just got the SMA crossing, and all I do is I just hit the look back period to 3, and what that tells BloodHound is look back 3 bars and tell me if there's a crossover. If so, give me a go. Right? So, right, you can see essentially the effect of what that does is that thickens these lines by 3 bars. Right? So if I look at this, if say I was sitting at this bar, and I want to say, I'll look back 3 bars. Was there a crossover within the last 3 bars? Yeah, there was. It was a bar crossover right there. Okay, so yeah, that's the go for going down. Same over here. You know, was there a crossover within the last 3 bars within this situation? Yep, there was right there. Okay, that's a go for going long. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all these, and sort of again, the idea is to sort of thicken everyone by 3 bars. So let me throw the, okay, so I look at guys, I just always like the ordinal right to the result here. And I'm going to thicken these ones by 3 as well. All right, so you can see they sort of correspond to that. And let's do that with histogram. Okay, so now we've got these thicker bars, if you will. And once I plug back that anode, now we get a couple more trade signals. All right. Right, so I'm just sort of waiting for the computer to catch up before I speak again when I sort of scroll the mouse. But you can see here, you know, we have some nice thick signals here, and we got more than just one trade within the last couple months there. And you know, some of you might be, well, like, you know, let's clean this up even more. And this is kind of a very advanced feature. So some of you guys that maybe have actually tried BloodHound a little bit. This is a new node that we've got. But what I'm going to do is, you know, let's clean this up just a little bit. This is totally not necessary because maybe your system, you know, like, okay, here's the deal, right? If you're trading and you just want one discrete signal, okay, because we thicken these bars, right? You can see here we've got a couple of these that are like more than 1 bar thick, okay? Meaning that there's a cell signal on this bar, and the day afterwards is a cell signal, but you know, let's call this second cell signal not really a valid signal. Maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe we want to say, I only want to take the first cell signal in a row. I don't want to take the second one in a row. Okay, you know, because if you're following your system to a T, if you woke up one morning and you saw you had a cell signal, but you know didn't realize the day before you had one too, you may actually go short on this one when you really didn't intend to. Okay, you want to maybe your whole point is you want to take the move early. And you don't want to, you know, if you miss the move in the one day, you want to take it going forward because you maybe chewed into your profit target too much. So what we have here is these new function nodes, and again, this is, you know, this is just the sort of advanced stuff, and I'm just barely sort of touching the surface here. I don't want to get into this too deep, and sort of we go over this stuff in our advanced workshops, which all customers, you know, it's free to attend for all customers, and that runs every Friday morning. But I'll just show you real quick. Now I put this little signal blocker node in here, and sort of we have to put a little. And now you can see all these guys that used to be 2 thick now they just become 1 thick. You know, just one bar. So we get these clean, really clean, concise buy and sell signals. Okay, so that's basically, that's it. I mean, I took a lot longer probably than I should have. But I put together a system. Otherwise, probably if you were a coder, or you hired a coder, and you didn't have a tool like this, which even some of the top coders I know would at least take a good, I don't know, say a good day or two to get this done and debugged and in your hands, which a lot of these senior developers, the rates can be as high as 150 an hour on a consulting basis, or 200 an hour. So they don't come cheap. Whereas you can sort of buy our tool for a hell of a lot less actually, and be able to do it yourself without having to call up and sort of write up design specs and stuff for your developer to follow. That's if you want to go that route. But again, I'm talking, we're building a tool here for retail traders, and a lot of retail traders say we don't need, when I was when I was doing this sort of stuff, that certainly wasn't the thing. What I would be thinking about is hiring a developer to develop my system for me. That's just outside my realm. I don't want to incur that expense, and I don't blame you. I mean, you don't have billions of dollars in your bank account like a hedge fund does. So the next thing we can do is sort of, I can take this system that we just built here, and I'm going to save it. All right, and I've got a lot of stuff already saved on this one, but I can see, once you sort of get professional with BloodHound, it's trivial to build these systems, and you can just start cranking them out like no tomorrow. But let's call this Thursday workshop classic stock signal. We call it the classic stock signal. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's you got to trade stocks with it. It's just that what we named it, because that's the industry tends to use these very familiar indicators for trading stocks. And then we want to backtest it. So I'm just going to start again just to show you kind of what the process would be like if we were to do this. But in NinjaTrader, the backtesting starts when you go to I'm just getting some of these GoToMeeting windows out of the way. When you go to the File menu and you go to New, Strategy Analyzer. All right. Okay. Let me drag that in there and let the system catch up. Okay, I'm going to drag that as well. All right, so I just pop open this little backtest window. We have this thing called SI Raven. Raven, if you're familiar with NinjaTrader, NinjaTrader actually has two parts to it. It's got indicators, it's got strategies. Really, they're almost the same thing. The difference is, well, not the same thing, but I mean, indicators are really designed to be on the chart and sort of paint your chart up with things, with pretty pictures, and that's what BloodHound is. Strategies, on the other hand, are actually designed to take positions and manage the trades and whatnot. So the counterpart component to BloodHound on the strategy side is called Raven. We chose these animal names, I guess, to make it easy to remember. So, all right. So Raven, same idea. Now we just saved that template that we had back there, and it's BloodHound Smart to sort of let you know what's the last one you worked on. I'm just going to load it up like that. Okay. And the last thing I got to do, I got to name this logic template entries, right? And then in BloodHound, you can create more than one of these, right? And just let me explain why that's important. But because say you've got a couple different strategies that you want to run kind of simultaneously, or not simultaneously. Say you got a couple different strategies that run depending on what kind of market condition you're seeing. Now, it is actually possible to define a couple different logic configurations. We call them logic templates, and then on the fly, just switch between them. So, say you see a very highly trending market, right? You've got a strategy just for that. You just pop open your box, your drop-down box. In fact, I'll show you right here. It looks like this. You would have a couple of these maybe defined, and you can switch between them on the fly, and instantly BloodHound will just update the chart right away. And it's a great flexible way to trade if you're a discretionary trader and you want to switch between different modes very quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and select the entries, and I'm going to select the this is the trade management section. I'm just going to select different profit and stop loss targets, and we can have the ability to use ATRs to measure your profit start your profit and stop losses. And what ATRs are, the ATR indicator is basically the average. It's called the average true range, and really simply, it just means how many, it's just basically the size of the average bar size. So if I, for example, if I went like this, if I put 5 here and I put 5 here, I'm telling BloodHound, or I'm telling Raven, I want my profit target and my stop loss to be basically 5 bars, whatever the length of your average 5 bar is. Five average length bars are. And you can alter the period of how much, where it's, how far back is it calculating the bar size by changing that value. But let's just start at 10. Okay, 5 is pretty narrow, 5 bars. And this is kind of part of the experimentation part of the whole, when your system's trading. We're going to select your 3 years of data approximately. Actually, I guess that'd be more like 2 years and a couple months, really. And really, all we got to do is select the instrument. We're going to run on a basket here, which you saw earlier. Go ahead, rest. And there's our results. So, 10 didn't give us the nicest number there. Well, I mean, it's it's 10 is this is kind of the point where you can go back and you can sort of play with the profit and stop target losses. So let's try lowering the risk a little bit. Go back down to 9, and so on and so forth. So we can go back and we can fool around this and come up with a ideal results. So this, I think, BloodHound is really fast, and building systems is really fast. So it enables you to arrive at your goal in terms of what you want to, finding a system that you want to trade, a lot quicker than any other method that I can think of, at least. But basically, that's it in a nutshell, folks. I mean, I just showed you how to build the system within a couple minutes here, a little bit about how the BloodHound interface works, and let me just kind of go back to our little chart here, our little presentation here, and I'll sort of kind of wrap things up and answer some questions. Okay, so today what we covered again was we learned kind of what exactly is system trading, the importance of system trading, how BloodHound sort of ties into that. Then we went ahead and we modeled this classic stock signal. And this stuff is recorded, so you'll play it back. I'm also happy to send out, sort of include this little this template file or this BloodHound system. If you're a customer, just give me and shoot me an email. I'll pass it to you. That's not a big deal at all. And of course, then we showed you how to backtest it. And really, it's really that simple, folks. So let me go through the questions and see what we've got here. Okay. All right. So James is asking, can you test the performance of the system once you set it up? Okay. So James, I guess you asked that probably a little bit before I did that. So yeah, I mean, that's basically how you would go ahead and do that. Again, if you use SI Raven and you say your BloodHound template, and you go ahead and use your stop and target. You have to set your profit stop targets. Kenny's asking, can you backtest us with this after this logic is put in place? Same question. Steve is asking, how would you add ATMs to the strategy? So ATMs are certainly possible. Just a little caveat: NinjaTrader does not support actually backtesting ATMs. But if you decide to trade this live, and say you're in a live trading environment, what you would do, Steve, is you would just simply go ahead and select ATM, right? And if you're not familiar with the ATM, none of this stuff is going to make sense to you. But you would presumably have an ATM already defined. So I've got one called My ATM, for example. And you would just simply type it in like this, and when you run Raven, it will, instead of placing sort of positions in the stop and profit target losses that you otherwise would have specified before, it actually just puts your ATM on. Okay, so what that entails is you can actually take over and manually intervene, if you will, and really just trade your ATM like you would have if you would just hit this buy market or sell market. So it's actually a fantastic way to you can have BloodHound sort of take your entries automatically, and then you can go ahead and use your ATM to manage it from there on. So if you're not familiar with the ATM, great little tool that NinjaTrader comes with. I won't go into depth with it, but those of you that know what that is will appreciate that. Steve's asking, can you also optimize? At the moment, you can optimize the stop targets and profit targets. We are working on some new technology to so you can optimize some of the parameters with the indicators, but that's just on the sort of the drawing board. So at the moment, you can optimize just what you see here in terms of your trade management side. Okay, so you'll be able to optimize pretty much, it doesn't really make sense to optimize these values, but you can optimize your profit stop targets, and eventually you'll be able to optimize as well the indicator values themselves. Do you have other template files? So Steve, yeah, we have actually a bit of a download section, and this is a in our website here, and where you can just simply download. If you go to our BloodHound, oops, sorry, I can't see that anymore. BloodHound, learn BloodHound, and that looks like we're just cut off the screen here. All right. Go to the download section. You'll see that there are some systems, and they're scattered kind of on our website. And we've got a bunch of them, and a lot of them actually have videos attached to them as well, tutorial videos and how we built them. These are pretty good. Some of these are good systems we've got there that but most of the intention behind these templates is that they're really for teaching tools to show you how to use parts of BloodHound, so that ultimately you can build them yourself, which is our ultimate goal, is to power you guys to build these things yourself. I will say, just kind of, on the drawing board here is we want the ability for you guys to create your own systems and be able to download other people's systems that want to share them, all kind of built into the BloodHound interface. But anyways, I won't elaborate on that, but that's the eventual goal. I think when we get to that point, I think there'll be a lot of people that would love to share their systems and actually would love to use other people's systems as sort of a starting off point when they build their own systems, or maybe you just trade them as they are. So, anyways, this sort of platform gives us a lot of flexibility. Certainly, if you're new to the product, my recommendation is go to the BloodHound menu, go to the Getting Started section, and right here we've got some fantastic tutorials, great tutorial videos, which we will be updating soon. But nonetheless, they still work quite well in their current state, including everything from installation to getting your first system out. It's a great way to get started. Okay, so how does this turn into a fully automated trading system? I'm not clear on it. So Kenny, let me actually just show you how that works. Okay, so again, with NinjaTrader, you use a strategy called SI rate that's included with BloodHound, and I'm just going to go ahead and let's do some simulated data here. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is how you'd go about doing that. All right, so I would open up a new chart. All right, let's just choose a minute, and because the market is closed, again, we're just using simulated data. I just want to illustrate this point really quick, and just watch how fast I'm going to throw this together. In terms of, I'm just going to. Okay, so we don't have any historical data, so unfortunately, let me get rid of that real quick here and connect to connect to my real data provider just to load in some historical data. All right, get a chart that looks half reasonable. In the meantime, let me just answer some of these. Okay, so Jan's asking, do other indicator settings work for other timeframes and markets? That's, I guess, a fairly open-ended question, but the whole point of BloodHound is, again, to allow you to test whether or not using different indicator settings will work well with other timeframes and other markets, right? So the whole point is you don't know. I don't know the answer to that. You won't know the answer to that until you actually tested it out. Again, that's the whole goal behind BloodHound, is to give you tools to be able to test that hypothesis out. Okay, so let's clear my chart. And what have we got? EMA 100. Let's put on a little cross. Okay, folks, we'll do this real quick here. All right, so let's put on a 2.5 cross on there. This is a really fast 210 cross. Okay, so I got two indicators on there. Sorry, it's not super clear, but we got these crossovers. What I'm getting, I want to throw together a real quick system using a crossover between those two moving averages. Okay. And let's do that real quick here. Another crossover. How can you tell I like crossovers? They're so simple. All right, so let's do a 2. And 10. I'm moving these guys around because the GoToMeeting stuff's kind of in the way. All right. So there we go, crossover. I should save that. Okay. All right. Now, can you just this is how you do it. All right. So go over to your chart, and let's clear that off again. Actually, let's. Oh, we got some data in there. Let's go back to our simulated data. Now, this is going to look a little wonky because the way the simulated data feed works in NinjaTrader is it just picks. You literally type in what you want your price to start off with. So it's certainly way up there, but it's going to make it look really ugly, but you get the point. Okay, so you go to Strategies, go to SI Raven, select the template that you created earlier. You can create it within SI Raven if you want. Wouldn't recommend it. You want to do kind of your work in the indicator, right? It's got the crossover there, okay? And we don't have any entry logic defined. And I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, Steve, here, actually, and just use my ATM. And I believe I called it that. All right, let's just make sure, absolutely sure I did, because it'd be funny if we did get a crossover and we got no positions taken because I typed in the wrong name. All right, just give me another chart, please. All right, so my ATM, yeah, okay, so I got it right. Actually, let's get another oil chart up there real quick. And I'm just going to run this in the background, and when it takes the position, we won't hear it because my speaker, but I will switch to it and then we can take it. All right, so let me find that. Where's my little trend guide? I'll move that guy down, and hopefully we get a crossover there. So let's enable that. Okay. All right. I'll leave that there for now and answer more questions. Okay. Can you handle different time frames and logic nodes? Absolutely, Marianne. No, I'm sorry if I butchered your name there, but you certainly can. Multiple time frames is definitely a part of BloodHound. That, of course, is a fairly sophisticated, advanced topic, I suppose you could say. But yeah, if you're interested in that sort of stuff, we do cover that stuff in the advanced workshops and whatnot. Okay. Kenny is asking again. Oh, I think I missed a couple here. Okay, I see the word forex there, but I'm not sure if that's a question. Steve is asking. Okay, can you do calculations with BloodHound, like subtract number of buyers from number of sells to determine who's greater? There are various ways to do that kind of stuff. Again, that's sort of an advanced topic, but you know, that the gist of it is you can use kind of basically an indicator comparison. And we are actually as well working on a kind of math node. So if you're the advanced tech and you like to do sort of custom calculations and that sort of thing between indicators and whatnot, very soon, well, not, I shouldn't promise any sort of timeline, but eventually we'll have the ability for you to type in formulas and whatnot. Okay. Yeah, and the red and green bars will entry. So while that's kind of putting away, let me just finish off real quick, because before I want to sort of sign off, I do want to tell you that we are, you know, I do want to thank you guys for watching tonight, you know, and sort of extend a little bit of an offer for you guys. You know, so the whole theme of tonight again was the ability to build your system yourself, and I thought it fitting that I would create a coupon code called Build It Myself. So if you enter coupon code Build It Myself and you're interested in our product, it'll take 20% off the sticker price, and that will be good until next Wednesday, which is the 27th. All right, so if we look at our products here, we've got actually 3 kind of different flavors. All right, and the system that we built tonight actually requires at least the professional version, but basically we do have 3 different flavors, and at the moment, you know, you can search if you're unsure. Oops, that's not it. Go to Buy Now, and you can sort of see that we've got our 3 flavors down there. But the standard version is sort of your you know, quick starter version that allows you to operate in that first window that we saw earlier, which is what we call the solver screen. So basically, the whole point is you got a list of criteria coming out, and you just want to see this indicator doing, you know, this indicator, this, you know, say 3 or 4 indicators agreeing with each other on the same bar. You could use the standard version to put something like that really quickly together, and you would actually just be playing within. You know, my mouse is jumping around quite a lot here. All right, that's a little bit of a problem there, but you'd be working in this screen primarily right here. Okay, where you'd have a criteria that you can select, and you could just, you know, add them, boom, 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 down, you know, down the line, and that's basically what the standard version entails. The standard version doesn't actually allow you to use multiple timeframes, but you know, something like, you know, like the professional version will allow you to do that. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, that the version that I was using, or sorry, the system that we built today used most of its components from the professional version, and for the exception of that one sort of function node I added at the end, that's including the ultimate version. So anyways, what I want again is just before we sit there and watch the chart, is to sort of again just extend that offer to you guys. And so let me just go back and see if there's any sort of questions that are outstanding. And in the meantime, we'll just start here. Okay, so you can see very closely here that this crossover could occur pretty soon here. It's just okay. And I heard Phil, left hand side, you can see that the ATM is now active, and now it just took its first profit target. And let me slow it down a little bit before it just munches into that. But I can actually take over manually and manage the trade that was entered automatically through BloodHound. And of course, you guys didn't hear the order filled, but that came through my headset. But had I had my speakers on, you would have heard order filled. And now the ATM is basically live, or in this simulated environment, I should clarify. And we got our stop target there. That's our entry right there, and that's our buy. So that's, you know, that's how you would set up the auto trading as I showed you earlier. And a lot of the stuff too, guys, we there's a target filled that just rang and that closed the position. So a lot of these things, we do cover a lot of stuff in depth, and certainly, you buy the product, we don't leave you kind of out on your own. We handhold you through things. You can book one-on-one consultations with us where we help you and teach you one-on-one. Again, these are all kind of privileges as a customer that you get when you sort of sign up with us. And the whole point again is we really want to change the industry in the way the retail traders are trading today, and get this product out into as many hands as possible. That's why we've got some pretty aggressive pricing, and with an eye to eventually creating a big marketplace and a lot of experienced developers and a lot of experienced traders using our product. And I think when we get to that point, we'll have a great launching point where we have a community of people that are producing these systems and other people can consume them. So that's basically our business model and our model. Again, we want to change the way you guys are trading today. Steven's just asking another question here. I have some specialized indicators. Will they also work? And Steve, that the answer I'll say is yes. And except the one little caveat is it's the indicators that you have got to work with in terms of they've got to expose data. Okay, so not all indicator designers. I mean, most of them do, but the indicator has to be designed with basically a plot. Right? You see these lines here. If they got a plot or a data series that they expose, BloodHound will pick up and read it. But if it's just one of those indicators that just paints the chart only and doesn't really share its own data with anybody, then not only can it not be read by BloodHound, but it can't be read by anything really. Okay. Kenny P. So yeah, I just showed you how to manually intervene there with the ATM. So the position again was taken automatically by BloodHound or /Raven. It was placed onto the chart, and I had this other sort of manual chart trader up on the left-hand window where I was taking the positions and manipulating the stops and profit targets as kind of manually. Of course, that may or may not be your preference. Maybe you want you have your ATM all set out and you want to trade it. You just want to leave it, not touch it, because you're afraid you might mess it up because of emotions. You can certainly do that too. But if you want to manually intervene, you absolutely can do that too. Okay, all right. Let me see here. Mariano, I'm terribly sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm just not so good at multiple vowels. I guess it's always been a weakness of mine in school. I'll tell you what, English was my worst subject there. Need to leave for dinner now. Thanks for the presentation. Thank you very much. What's the promotion code again? The promotion code again is build it myself. All right. All right. So coupon code is build it myself. That's only good for a week. Can you upgrade from one version to the next? Absolutely, Michael. We don't have the I guess what you could say the automated store side of that done yet, but certainly you just shoot us an email. The upgrade fee is just simply the difference of price plus maybe a little extra, but whatever, it's very close. Either way, you're not out much in terms of you can either choose to go for a lower version and then upgrade later, and then or just go for the gusto. So yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is absolutely no problem. You can upgrade. Just at least at the moment, you have to just email us when you want to upgrade, and we respond within usually 1 business day. All right. Can you show 5 minutes? I'm assuming you want to show the 5-minute time frame. Okay. Well, I'll just pop it in there, but you can use any time frame you want. Right. So, oops. Yeah, I would just. Oops. That's not even the BloodHound's not on that one. But you can switch it on the fly. Literally, you can switch over the file like that, and everything. The system will adapt essentially. So now it's on the 5-minute time frame. So all your indicators are now on the 5-minute time frame. And as I was mentioning earlier, I can't remember who asked it, but the multiple time frames, you can actually add multiple time frames like so. Okay, so your system may use like 1 minute as the base, then maybe a 15-minute like larger time frame that you're looking at. You can add it like that, and you can some criteria underneath there, so now it's under the 15-minute context. So again, those are things that we show kind of more in depth in the advanced workshops, but just to let you know that's available there. All right. How do you handle software updates? Okay, so basically updates are quite simple. You just go to the help menu here. You can go check for updates, and you purchase a license. Okay, so this obviously is up to date, but you purchase a license that entitles you to one free year of updates to the software. So we don't like originally we were sort of tied to version numbers. We were saying, well, version 1 would cost this much, and you want to upgrade to version 2, it would cost this much. But we decided to kind of go against that because we found that we were sort of building the product around version numbers. In other words, like we would be like, well, maybe we should save this feature and put it in version 2 instead, sort of justify the upgrade cost. So we kind of abolished that, and we're now it took us a while to sort of figure out what the good sort of software model is to run that wouldn't tie our hands back in terms of designing, putting features in. And turns out it's actually a very conventional model. A lot of software companies use the same way, and we just didn't sort of see that until recently. But the way it works is basically you get a year free updates, and that doesn't matter what version we call it. And then if, at the end of the year, if you and this is totally optional, if you feel that you want to have the latest and greatest BloodHound after that, we basically instead of asking you to repurchase the product, which I don't think would go over too well with a lot of people, although a lot of software companies actually do that. We have a very generous, I think, a very generous maintenance upgrade program where basically you just pay 25% of the sticker price, and that entitles you to another year of updates. So and I don't think they're we sort of those people that have been with us since the beginning will know that we have made quite a lot of changes and updates to our software, added a lot of neat little features to it, and we're constantly developing and adding new stuff. And believe me, we got some pretty cool stuff in the pipeline, which I won't dive into now, but certainly we always strive to make this product kind of better as we keep going. Okay, thanks, Kenny, for the endorsement. Okay, so Mariano, okay, no problem. I'll email you. Kenny, yes, you can manually intervene. Okay, so Kenny, you're asking about the training classes on the website. So the training classes run every Friday morning. They're reserved for paid customers, and so essentially once you purchase the product, you will get a special registration link, and then you can sign up for the training classes on Fridays. All right. Okay. Joe's asking, what's the difference between the professional and the ultimate? Okay, so the difference is, Joe, is on the screen we have a couple advanced nodes that you can put in here called function nodes. Okay, so they may not mean a lot to you right now, but I think when you start developing more advanced systems, they will definitely mean a lot to you. In terms of they add a lot of power and a lot of functionality. So the professional version, you can just sort of put these nodes up like so, and then tie them together with these with these ratio, additive, and or an XOR nodes, which allow you to sort of congregate different criteria and sort of come up with if you will, a fairly good equation. Or a criteria that's compounded of multiple criteria. But if you want to do something really advanced, if you want to have some flow logic, if you want to have the ability to look at past signals, invert them, and do all sorts of fancy stuff, and really open the door in terms of power, that's where the ultimate version comes in, and you get access to these function nodes, which again I won't go into in depth or anything like that, but they definitely add a lot of flexibility to your designing your system. Okay, all right, let's go through the questions here. Okay, Steven's asking, they show on screens. Okay, I'm not sure. I have some specialized indicators. Will they also work they show on the screens. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Steve, I believe I answered that one already. Michael, thanks for the endorsement again. Kenny's asking again, are the updates free for life of the license? Let me companies know. So again, Kenny, we have more of a conventional software model. Again, I hate to say it, but a lot of the indicators out there are fairly straightforward and simple. What we've got here is a full-blown, tool building software, which is a tremendous amount of, engineering effort. And the whole point is to fund future development and keep us going and keep us sort of building great new tools for you guys. I think we have a fairly good compromise in terms of you get the license, you get 1 year free updates, and and it's totally optional. You don't have to do it, but if you and of course it keeps us honest as well. The harder we work in putting new features and stuff into the product, the more you're enticed, and you probably want to get the updates in as well. And so these little I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of indicator companies out there that may offer a lifetime, but they seldom change. You're looking at indicators that they're more or less once it's not like BloodHound where we're building in a lot of powerful tools here, and these tools can change quite drastically over time, and we're constantly reinventing and re-engineering them. Okay, so I believe I've answered that already. Steven's asking, is this converted to C assembly language? No, this is not. So your template files are actually just XML files. And however, Steve, it sounds like you're a programmer. If you're definitely interested in that side of things, we do have some fantastic stuff that help you integrate your say BloodHound into an existing strategy that may be written, or maybe you want to write some code that will manage the trade in a much more sophisticated manner. You can certainly do that. And to show you how you do that, you go to Learn BloodHound, go to the documentation section, and if you scroll down to the very bottom there, not very bottom, but kind of on the right hand side here, you can see that we've got a couple example strategies, and you can you click them, you can see some source code examples on how you would integrate your strategy your strategy with BloodHound, so that you got to get the best of both worlds. You can get the fast development time of creating custom indicators and custom strategies with BloodHound, and you can also use your custom logic and code it yourself as well, around that, so you can get the speed and the flexibility at the same time. So that's certainly possible. Okay. Deb is asking, how do we view the recording? So Deb, I will be emailing everybody the recording kind of basically right after this webinar. I'll get the thing encoding, and hopefully within a day or two, I will have it all up there for you guys. Okay. All right. Len's asking, license for one machine. So basically one purchase entitles you to activate on 2 machines, and you can migrate them anytime. So it's just a simple matter of just changing your license, and I'll actually show you that. And of course, you have any problems, you just email us. We're very good at this. But you go to your manage license section here, and if you want to move to another machine, just take your and you get all this information obviously when you purchase. You get your license code through the email, and you just deactivate your machine, and then you can, once that's done, you can go ahead and move it to another machine. And of course, if you forget to do that, just if you say your machine crashes or whatever, just don't worry about it. Just email us. We're very good at getting back to you, and we'll perform the deactivation manually, and you'll be off to the races again in a short time. So 2 machines, and if you need more machines than that, we do charge $90 an extra seat, as opposed to having to buy the indicator again or something like that. But we do limit to 5, just so we don't have sort of abuses. We're just one guy sort of buying on behalf of all of his friends. Just sort of it's sort of a little bit of a safeguard for us. Okay. Kenny's saying 25% for upgrades is great. Okay, thanks. Ken's asking, can you send an order to the Ninja ATM? So Ken, I just demonstrated that. I'm not sure if you saw it. But let me just recap that super quick. So yeah, absolutely can. You can. So in fact, this is what we did with this strategy, which I threw a bunch of gunk in there. But you can. I'll just go through the setting real quick so you can see how that was done. And basically you use SI Raven, but instead of under the trade manager section, instead of default, which is what it normally is, just select it to ATM and then type in the name of your ATM, and that's really all you gotta do. Okay, versus B. BH is so much more than an indicator. It's a drag and drop trade design tool, a whole trade design factory, a first and unique tool in the market. Thanks, Bercy, for the endorsement. That's very kind words. Thanks a lot. Larry's saying thanks, and it looks like everybody's just saying thanks, and there isn't any more questions. All right, so again, guys, I really thank you for your time. I've got 2 kids of my own here, and I know what it's like, dipping in family time. But I was sort of told that, hey, if you want to, capture more people, you're probably better off trying to run in the evening rather than during the day when most people work. So we try out this sort of late night, if you will, format. That's not really late night, but I mean it's about dinner time for most people. Thank you very much for sort of, after a hard day's work for most of you guys, coming home and watching us. That's sort of, I have to say, guys, like it's part of the as a trader, right? It's a lot of work. It's not something that just comes for free. And having you guys join us kind of in your free time, if you will, it's definitely a testament to your dedication to this craft. And definitely, if you're serious about trading, that's the first step, is being able to commit the time and be able to do that. So I really thank you for doing that. But at the same time, just recognize that this is definitely the right path that you've chosen. The other thing I'm going to sort of brush upon is you definitely want to arm yourself with the right tools and save yourself even more time. I mean, there's no sense in going out there and spending a lot of money on custom indicators when you could just literally just do them yourself for a lot cheaper and for a lot quicker. You got your trade capital and you want to protect it. Don't spend all your money on custom indicators and when you should be using that money trading, right? And I probably I just want to make sure you guys understand that that's our goal is we want to be of value to you guys and give you guys build a tool here that could be the last indicator you have to buy, all right? And I'm not saying that BloodHound can do everything under the sun, but it sure as hell can do a lot of things that at least certainly I've seen, and do it for a lot cheaper. All right, so with that, I'm going to end it. And again, thanks for joining us.